First, I'm going to hop on real quick. Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to personally welcome you and again express some sincere gratitude for you taking time out of your busy day. I know you are incredibly busy and have a lot of amazing things going on and a lot of directions that you're being pulled in. So I am so appreciative that you're spending excuse me, an hour of your day with me, and I am going to make sure it is so valuable, and I can't wait. So here's the thing. I'm going to make sure that you're going to understand tips, tools, and habits of world-class performers so we can land this plane in your house, meaning so you can take this content and really apply it to your life. My background is applied sports psychology. That means I don't just want this hour to be interesting. Of course, I want it to be interesting, but I want you to be able to use it. So it's going to be interactive, it's going to be collaborative, and I'm going to do my best to make sure it is fun as well. So welcome, welcome. I want you to keep adding questions to the chat roll because I want to make sure that I make this content real for you. Okay, so it's the top of the hour. We're going to get started. Again, if you're just hopping on, please do raise your hand. Let me know, put in the chat roll your first name, where you're from, because I would like to personally welcome you. And now we are going to get going. So let's go ahead and get to the slides. Bear with me. There we go. Cool. All right. So you've seen this probably for a little bit, but I want to make sure that you have lots of questions in mind because I'm not just going to be talking at you. I'm going to be asking you questions and making this content really real for you. Have a pen and a workbook handy. If you have downloaded the workbook, awesome. If you haven't, do not panic. Just make sure you have something to write with. I will be talking a little bit fast, but I will make sure that you'll be able to follow along. Make sure you have a little bit of water, something to drink. Please eliminate all distractions. I do not have my phone anywhere near me. I have all notifications shut off. There are notes all over my house, my office, do not disturb. And so hopefully, since I will be giving you my full attention for an hour, I'm really hopeful that you will be giving me yours. And then also I request that you block out the next 60 minutes because I'm going to be delivering a lot of value. And I want to give you a reminder. This hour is about me giving to you. I'm not going to sell you anything at the end. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you more at the end. There's going to be upwards of $1,200 worth of free content given away at the end, as well as an opportunity for you to schedule a strategy session with me so we can customize some of these things and so I can help you see the progress that you want and help you see the transformation that you want and deserve. This is all about giving. I'm also going to give away the slide deck at the end as well, but please stick around and remind me at the end of the presentation and at the end of the masterclass, and also let me know during the Q&A. That's when I will be taking requests for the slide deck as well as everything else. All right, are we ready to go? Cool. All right, so a little bit of information about me. I'm a certified high performance coach I've been certified by the High Performance Institute, which is one of the most scientific and rigorous and proven institution that certifies high performance coaches. As I mentioned, I have a master's in applied sports psychology. I've worked with, for the last 2.5+ decades, high-level athletes and business people, and I'm so excited to teach some of these tools to you. In the last few years or so, I've spoken at Google Ventures, Autodesk, Microsoft, Pixar, VMware, just to name a few, and I can't wait to bring this content to you. Now, I am also the mother of three student athletes. One is a high school varsity student athlete. The other two are Division I college student athletes. And as I mentioned there, I'm a runner and basically love anything outdoors. And that is enough about me. You can, of course, let me know if you have any questions about the presentation or about me as well. I'm glad to answer anything. But this hour is about you. So without further ado, let's go move forward. I want to let you know, full and total transparency, that this is going to contain massive value, and the teaching and the mindset and the habits required for you to be your absolute best and to get what you want and deserve. Now, this is purely informational, as I mentioned, absolutely no selling. As a matter of fact, I am giving, giving, giving. And so I'm so excited for you to stay to the end. And in fact, I already mentioned about the application process for a free one-on-one session with me, which it would be my true honor to spend that time with you. Now, there's 4 huge bonuses worth $1,200. We'll be talking about that in the Q&A, so please do stick around for that, as well as I mentioned, giving away this entire PowerPoint deck. But just stick with me till the end of the Q&A. Now, there's something that I want to share with you, and this slide is really important. And it says that there's a fundamental lack in belief of our own value, worth, and ability to achieve consistently, and it tempers female ambition and holds women back. When I first read that, I said, ouch, that is pretty direct. But this was a comment by Margie Worrell, who is a Forbes contributor, and she also started this amazing organization called Global Courage for Women. And it was really my inspiration to start this, because it's time for us to get clarity around what we want and what we deserve, and then so we can then go after it. Because you know what? It's not going to come to us on a silver platter, unfortunately. I don't want to be the bearer of that news, but that's the reality. And we need to start having the foresight to thinking about what we want and not let what's in between our ears get in the way of us seeing the success that we want and deserve. All right, let's move this forward a little. Now, there's a statistic that I want to throw out, and I'm not a huge numbers person, total transparency, but this one really blew my mind. The amount of lost revenue in the workplace because women are not happy or fully engaged. This is a number that is pretty amazing. $275 billion. Now, that was a study done in Gallup in 2016. And if you work for yourself, then think about it. If you're not fully happy and engaged in your work, in your business for your own, and if you're working in corporate, then you are really not as productive or as creative as you could be. So it's time again to start thinking about that clarity around what you want and deserve in your current position or in something else. And it needs to be addressed, because either you're losing money for yourself or your company. And it's incredibly important. And you know what? What's most important is that we want you to be happy. Because when we're performing at our highest level possible, we tend to be more happy. That's really what it's all about. When we're happy, we're more productive, we're more creative, and we're more engaged. And you know what? It's not just in our work. We're a lot nicer to be around for those that matter most to us. All right, so what's the core objective today of this masterclass? It's to help next level your clarity so that you have an idea of where your ship wants to sail. I have to tell you, and I've experienced it personally, lack of clarity is the death of productivity. If you are unsure what you want, it's going to be unlikely that you're going to get there. You'll probably get exhausted on the way, running yourself in circles. Clarity is so important, and that's one thing that we're going to cover today. Next is how to build confidence so that you can be resilient, so that when you get knocked down, you can dust off and get back into the arena. And what that means is you will gain clear and consistent progress. So again, please do raise your hand. Let me know that you're understanding what I'm talking about. And if you are and you're agreeing so far, say, that's me. Let me know, okay? And also let me know if you have any questions. All right, the third objective. All right, thank you. I so appreciate that engagement. The third core objective of this live masterclass is so you can take control of your progress. And this is so important. I want you to take control of what you want and deserve so you are no longer anxious, worried, or frustrated. And I'm going to explain to you how that works. And again, it's so important for you and your happiness and what you are going to get done. But it's also important for the other people that are important to us in our life. All right. What I believe wholeheartedly is that it's your time. I believe this down to my core because whether I have worked with women one-on-one in small groups or last year and recently, I have done so many workshops that have been broadcast globally, which blows my mind. I'm filled with so much gratitude for that. But I've seen the transformation over and over and over when women change their mindset, they get more clear on what they want and deserve, and then they have the tools to go after it. So that's what we're going to cover today. All right, so why am I so passionate about mental toughness? A lot of people ask, and I want to share the answer to that. First of all, I'm not going to show you too many pictures of me because most of them are embarrassing, but this one is a picture of me when I was much, 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 much younger, and I had a dream of competing in a national horse show competition, and I will tell you what this has to do with you. Everyone told me that it couldn't be done, I couldn't do it. I practiced 4 years, and I finally qualified, but you know what? I did not know how to master my thoughts and emotions, and I was so nervous by the time I got there. I went off course twice. I got disqualified. The whole thing was a disaster. And I don't know if any of you have kids. Now my kids are competing, and I wanted to make sure that that would never happen to me again, my kids again, or basically anyone else again. And that's why I am so passionate, because now I know how to help you dream, plan, and achieve your best, and especially how to show up and deliver under pressure. This was me a little more recently when I was at Autodesk and Google Ventures event. Total transparency again. I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I was petrified before this event because at the time I was working with a lot of young adults and high-level athletes, and I got asked to speak in front of 50 of the most promising women in technology. And it was petrifying, but I thought, I do this for a living, let's go. And you know what? After I did that, it blew up an entire arm of my business. And I'm passionate about mental toughness because I use it. If I wasn't mentally tough, I either would not have shown up that day, because the two women on either side of me, that one that looks way younger than me because she is, she's a 30 under 30. She's built a $100 million business. And that was intimidating. The other woman's on the CEO staff of Autodesk. And there was me. And because I was mentally tough, I showed up and I delivered that day, and it has changed the face of my business. So I'm passionate about this because it affects me. And one more reason is that this young man, super quick story, came to me at 11 years old and wanted to be a member of the University of California tennis team. And again, I'm going to tell you what this has to do. It's very petite, and everyone said, there's no way, never, never, never. Cal's number 5 in the country. You're never going to make it. And you know what? We sat down and master crafted a plan for 7 years, and he practiced every day and drank out of this mug, proceed as if success is inevitable. And you know what? There were lots of defeats. There were lots of tears. There were lots of naysayers. And you know what? He persevered because he was mentally tough. And now he is a member of the University of California tennis team, despite all odds. So my point is that champions come from unlikely places. And to be totally honest, I consider myself coming from an unlikely place. So anyone can do this. I want you not just to think about your current circumstances, but I want you to dream big and not dream smart. All of that research out there that's on SMART goals, I want you to throw it in the garbage as far as I'm concerned. It's time to dream big and start thinking down the road about what do you dream about, what do you want, and what do you deserve. So go ahead, raise your hand right now before we get into the next section. I am talking really fast because I want to pack a lot of things into this hour. Well, everyone raise your hand. Oh, it looks like Carol is in the house. Raise your hand. Let me know that you understand. Now would be a good time for you to drop in a question. Stephanie, all right, Shruti, Corina, Rachel, Nancy, thank you for raising your hand. I'm glad you're following along with me. Oh, there's so many more. Diane, Michelle, awesome. Thank you so much. Jennifer, Haley, you are all amazing. I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's keep going. And as I mentioned, you can keep putting in your questions. I will definitely get to those. Before I start giving you some tips, tools, and habits of how to land this plane and how to understand how to be mentally tough, I want to let you know 3 real factors that will instantly stop you in your tracks from achieving your best. Now, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but these are really important for you to understand, because when we have obstacles, it's very important for you to understand these obstacles so we can maneuver around them. So I hope that makes sense. All right, the first one, doubt. Has anyone ever had doubt about themselves? All right, more hands, let's see. All right, everyone who's being honest is raising their hand. I'm giving you a bad time. I have had doubt. I have definitely had doubt. I had doubt before I went and spoke on this panel in front of Google Ventures. All right, look at Haley. Thank you so much. It looks like, who is this? Allison, raise your hand. Thank you so much for being transparent. I think Nancy too. I think all of us have doubt. It's very normal, okay? Very normal. Even world-class athletes have doubt. And Cece, thank you for raising your hand as well. But one thing that I will tell you is, even though it's normal and it's okay, it's not going to serve you on your quest to be your best. So we're going to address that today. The second is fear of failure. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this picture because I've definitely felt like that. Has anyone ever had a fear of failing? I definitely have a fear of failing. All right, thank you so much. It looks like Stephanie, I want to read all these. Diane, Nancy, Allison, Karina, thank you for raising your hand. Carla, everyone has had fear of failure. World-class business people, world-class athletes, Olympians, we all have fear of failure. That's what we have in common, but it does not serve us on our quest to be our best. So we're going to talk about fear of failure, not how to keep it at bay, but actually how to use it as a superpower. Completely weird thought, different thought, but I'm going to teach you how to do that. And also, the third one that will stop you in your tracks is not believing. Has anyone ever had an idea of something that they wanted, something that in their gut they knew that was so important to them? Thank you, Karina, for raising your hand. But then you're like, I don't think it's possible. So not believing in yourself is a problem. Again, it's normal. Now it looks like Michelle and Jen, thank you for raising your hand. We all experience this. Again, it's very normal, but it needs to be addressed because it's not going to serve you when it comes to getting what you want and deserve. All right. So you may also relate to a couple things that I've heard from so many other women recently. So let me know, and as I'm reading these, go ahead and raise your hand again and let me know if any of these resonate with you. I feel like I'm on autopilot or in survival mode rather than being highly purposeful. Looks like Haley, Michelle, Rachel, wow, this chat roll is like, your hands are blowing up here. Thank you, Karina, Cece, everyone. This is very normal. We're going to address this today. Also, I've heard a lot lately, I'm sick and tired of not being heard and not being recognized for my ideas and efforts. Jennifer raised her hand. Michelle, who is this? Sugreet, thank you so much. Carol. So yeah, that is something definitely that we are going to address today. And also, the last one, not the last one, but the one that I've heard the most, or the third one that I've heard the most, is I feel boxed in and really unable to nail something and experience my next big win. So we're going to talk about that. And Kimberly and looks like Jen and Michelle, thank you for raising your hand. So just so you know, if we get it right, here's what's possible. We can create a life of clarity, confidence, and control. And as I've mentioned before, it's for you. This hour is for you, but it's not just for you. How will it affect those who matter most? How will it affect your partner? In other words, will you be a little bit nicer to be around? I know that I am. So when we feel like we're stuck in a rut and we're not performing our best, we tend to be a little less great to be around. And also, we tend not to inspire others to be their best. So, how will it affect your partner? How will it affect your kids? How will it affect your colleagues or the people that you work with, your friends? And also, I have to tell you something funny. The last time I did this live masterclass, the slide said, maybe you're not an Olympian or CEO. Well, I had Olympians and CEO on the masterclass, so I had to change it. So I changed it to maybe you are an Olympian or CEO, or maybe not. So hopefully we have everyone covered there. And this is what I've cracked the code on for so many others already, whether it's been at any of my live global masterclasses and live global workshops at VMware, Microsoft, Google Ventures, Capital One, Autodesk, any of these names. And I've also spoken at Bank of America, and Kimberly Bryant's Black Girls Code is, and I want to share this with you, is that you can have a world-class mindset to help you dream, plan, and achieve your best. So right now, I want you to post in the chat roll, what is a big dream of yours right now? I want you to start thinking about that. And it does not need to be a SMART goal. I want to know what you are dreaming about. It could be to start your own business. It could be to scale your business. It could be a promotion. It could be to have an amazing relationship with one of your kids that maybe is not in an area where you like it. I don't know. But I want to start hearing what your big dreams are to make this content real for you. All right, so start posting those. All right, take my business to the next level. Start a business. From my research results on color theory, that is so fascinating. Scale my business up. Up is a good way to go. We're going to talk about that, so stay tuned. Now, I want to keep posting. This is so interesting. Now, I want to let you know how learning how to be mentally tough helps a client of mine, Erin Smith, who's a CEO and already doing amazing. She's a CEO of the Starters Club, but she was in a rut and she was unable to go to the next level. And this is a lot of copy for one slide, so I'll let you know the gist of it. She said that it was a mindset shift and a couple habits that really got her unstuck and opened up a lot of new possibilities for her. So this is how a mindset shift really helped her, and having the tools to be mentally tough and the habits really helped her as well. And also, let's try and get to the next one here. All right. So what's really important, and what I've noticed is, and what I've seen is the transformation that occurs over and over and over again. And it looks like I see someone else that just posted that she has a dream of passing a certification. Carol, that's awesome. I had that too a while back. And you know what? And it wasn't until I just went in and took the plunge and had these tools that I did it. And I have no doubt that you can do it too. Now, I want to pose this. What is the result of this transformation that you want? What happens if you get it? Let's see. You're going to have higher levels of productivity, like we mentioned. In other words, it feeds on itself. So you start to see the transformation. You're more productive, you're more creative, and you have higher levels of joy. And that is so important. Now, becoming mentally tough at work, whether you're in a corporate situation, especially I've done a lot of speaking in the areas of finance and also technology, where women have some particular challenges that maybe they don't have in other types of businesses. But it's not just limited to finance and technology. If anyone is in any of those businesses, let me know if you're in another business that's male dominated that poses some challenges for you, because this is going to really apply to you. All right. You're going to be able to ask for a raise or promotion that you know that you've earned. All right. You're going to also feel like your contributions are being acknowledged. That is so important for you to be able to be your best. And so you feel valued. Also to gain the confidence and take control of what you want and deserve. And then also, and this I think maybe is one of the most important, you'll be able to wake up happy and optimistic about your workday and proud of your accomplishments at the end of the day. And how will that affect how you show up when you come home? So that is incredibly important. Real estate. I love Carol for posting that because I have worked with so many real estate agents and I'm very aware of the amazing things about being in that industry as well as the challenges. So these things will definitely apply to you as well. And finally, you'll be able to bring the joy when you reconnect, as I mentioned, with your family and after work. So mental toughness, it's really a tool to help you gain clarity. In other words, what you want, as well as confidence and the control required for you to be world-class at what's important to you. And especially, we haven't mentioned this yet, but especially in high pressure situations. So has anyone ever prepared relentlessly for something and you knew that you were prepared, you worked really hard, it was a moment that really mattered, but you showed up and you didn't deliver? Has anyone ever had a big fail? Whether it's been an interview or a presentation or anything. It looks like, Michelle, thank you for your transparency. Also, Carla, it's happened to a lot of us. And one thing that I want you to start thinking about is that you have your own Olympics, meaning the situations that are very important to you. So one thing that we're going to cover today is how you can show up and deliver, especially in moments that really matter. All right. So there's 3 phases of a complete mindset shift. And this is when, if you haven't written anything down or if you're multitasking, this would be the time to stop and start taking some notes and really give me your full undivided attention. Clarity is really defining what you want and why you care so deeply or why it's so important to you. Confidence, learning the world-class tools to accelerate growth and how to perform under pressure. So important. And then control. So you can get off that autopilot and start making deliberate progress. We're going to give you the tools for that. So right now, I'm going to take a quick break before we move on to answer a question. I'm going to answer the first one. We gave some of these folks a little bit of a bonus by asking questions right when they hopped on a little early. So I'm going to take one right now, but I want you to stay with me because I'm going to go over the remainder at the end of the Q&A. And then that's also when I'm going to be giving away a lot of the free bonuses as well. I'm going to take one question now. And that's going to be, what is a way to, the best way to negotiate a salary? And I've had 2 of those questions. So I just want to address that really quick because this clarity, confidence, and control has a lot to do with that. So it's whether it's asking to negotiate a salary or asking for a raise, or whether you are in business for yourself and raising your fees and asking that of a client. This is going to be really important. You need to be very clear on what exactly it is that you want. In other words, what is the raise that you want and deserve? What are the fees that you want and deserve? And why is it so important to you? Is it important to you because the money will help your family? Is it important to you because it's connected to your self-worth? Why is it important to you? Get crystal clear on that. And then it's very important to be very confident in yourself that you deserve it. Because if you're not confident, then when you're having the communications, it's going to come out in your tone. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that. But as a little bit of a bonus right here, I'm going to throw it in. There's 3 things that are very important when you're having an influential conversation. And again, I can go into influence all day long, but it's going to be a conversation for another day. But since this is so important, I'm going to throw things out there. You need to acknowledge and validate. In other words, where the other person's coming from. So you want to find out what their concerns would be surrounding the raise or the salary or the increase in fees or what have you, and then validate it. So let them know that you hear them. Let them know that you understand, and then you second have a platform to explain your point of view. In other words, you might explain why you want and deserve this raise, what you've accomplished, what you've been doing in your role, what have you. And then here's the tricky part that a lot of people don't do is you challenge. So you can challenge up, meaning that you can challenge people that are your manager or your superior in some way, or you can challenge sideways, you can challenge down. But when you're challenging up for a salary, it's really important that it's a way of getting them to come through the back door and agree to what you want rather than you convincing them. So a challenge for a salary might be, I understand you're concerned with the budget and I completely get it. But I just wanted to take a moment to explain to you how my work has generated X amount of revenue over the last quarter. So I'm sure you see the value in this, right? That's you challenging them. So again, this isn't something that I'm going to get super specific into now, but that your ability to be confident and have an influential conversation is going to be extremely important. And that's something, if you want to reach out to me on this side, or if anyone else is interested in this, I'll go deeper on that and in another time. And then take control. A mindset shift is very important for you to take control of what you want and deserve. In other words, to get off autopilot, stop waiting for someone to give you that raise. It's time to take control of what you can do to make progress. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So is this making sense to everyone? We took a little bit of a side turn, talked about influence for a second, but it's very tightly connected with confidence. And so I wanted to explain that to you guys. So is this making sense? Is learning a little bit about influence helpful? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right, Allison, Diane. Okay, awesome. I love this topic. And for us to make progress ourselves, and for women in general, we need to start learning how to be influential. We need to start learning how to build our confidence to go after what we want and deserve. And you know what? You can do it. These are tools that anyone can learn. So stay tuned. Now, if you do, I strongly believe that you can have more. And you might ask, how do I know these things? Well, I do know, and let me explain to you. The science says so. If you are follow Carol Dweck, who wrote Mindset, or Talent is Overrated by Jeff Colvin. He's a Forbes writer. Angela Duckworth's Grit. And also my favorite, who I had the opportunity last year of interviewing, is Andres Erickson, who wrote Peak. They have really explained and proved in science that if we have a certain mindset and a certain tools and a certain work ethic, we are really limitless. So I'm so excited to explain more. Now, what you need to do is to figure out what is your Olympics. It does not have to be something giant. You do not have to want to start a movement or start a company or get to be CEO. What is important to you? I work with people one-on-one in group situations that some of them are scaling a business, but maybe some of them are making a transition from a corporate into another business. They're just getting started. Or maybe some of them want to excel in their current role. Or as I mentioned, maybe some of them, their Olympics is to strengthen a relationship with a teenage daughter before they go off to college. So think about it right now. What is your Olympics? And I would love for you to keep posting these in the chat roll because they're inspirational to others and it will help you articulate what you want and deserve. All right, what is important that you must make progress in this year? So now I've got you thinking about what is your Olympics, but what is it that you must make progress in? So if you want to get to the next level in your job, or if you want that raise, or you want that increased salary, what must you get better at or more proficient at? Must you be driving more revenue? Must you be learning how to be a better speaker? What must you take control of and get better at right now in order to get what you want and deserve? So I want you to really hold on to your seats because there's going to be a lot more to cover in a very short amount of time. So really stay with me. Now I have Carla who says launch her life coaching business to empower women. That is amazing. So hold on to your seat. This is really going to apply to you. Now, the first one we mentioned, clarity. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to get more clarity. This is where it all starts. Your ship needs to know where it wants to sail, and it has to be very intimately involved with why it's important. This is how world-class business people and world-class athletes plan for what they want and deserve. And I call it the get to know yourself phase. Now, there's a secret to clarity, and this is it. Getting crystal clear on what's most important to you and why is the key to your personal success. So a lot of you have dropped in the chat roll what your dream is or what is very important to you. But I want to ask you, like, Carla, why do you want to be a life coach and help women? Why is it so important to you? You know, for the people that posted about they want a raise, why? Why is it important to you? Because that is what is going to be your motivator. That's what's going to cheer you on. And that's what's going to keep you going sometimes when it gets hard. And spoiler alert, it gets hard. It's not impossible, but it gets hard. So you need to know this. But I want to know also, this is going to help you with clarity. Is there a person or situation that's influenced you? So in other words, let me give you an example. My dad, who unfortunately is no longer with us now, he used to say to me, if you just focus and you're resilient, you can do whatever you want. And that sounded like amazing advice, but no one could tell me how. And so I've learned how now. I've studied the past almost 3 decades now to figure out how to focus and how to be resilient. So for me, my why in scaling my business is to carry on his legacy and also to help other women so they don't go through the same struggles that I did. And so it doesn't take as long. All right. All right. And this one's huge. Carol, I want to be a role model for my kids. That is huge. You are influencing the next generation. Now, let's put some of these. I said this was going to be applied, so I want you to be able to apply some of the things that I'm talking about. If you printed out your workbook, you should have something in there called the Success Builder. This is something that I have used with world-class business people, high-level athletes, even pre-Olympians, and it's very important. We're going to go through the first portion of it, which I've already cajoled some of it out of you already, but at the top left, it asks you what your long-term objective is. That is your big dream, not your SMART goal. I want it to be your big dream. And then you're also going to put in why it's so important to you. This is forming the basis as your map to where you want to go. Now, if at the end of this you want to apply for a strategy session with me, we will begin to go through this together and plan through the whole thing. We don't have time to do it right here, but stick around till the end because there's going to be an opportunity for you to be able to have an hour with me to work through this whole thing so you can have a roadmap. All right. Now, 2, confidence. I call this the mindset acceleration phase because confidence, again, this is so important. If you don't remember anything else, I want you to remember this. Not just for you, but I want you to tell your kids and I want you to tell whoever you care most about, and that confidence is a learned skill. It's not something that you were born with. If you don't have the amount of confidence that you need right now to get what you want and deserve, you can learn it, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now, here is a little bit of a weird concept. This is your confidence secret. Fear is your biggest ally. A lot of times people don't understand that and fear disables them. That means that it stops progress right in its tracks. So there's a difference between emotions and feelings. If you are fearful, it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. But guess what? You get to choose how you feel. Now, let me ask you something. Has anyone ever been fearful, let's say, about asking for a raise or promotion? And then they start feeling more and more and more fearful. And then they start feeling anxious and they start feeling overwhelmed and they start feeling all these other things. So has anyone ever had an emotion, but then they start thinking about it over and over again and it seems to make it worse? I know I have. Am I the only one? Oh no, we have some more. Karina, Carla, Allison, Haley, thank you for chiming in there. Michelle. So here's the thing. I want to teach you how to do this. You have a choice. We all have emotions. We all have fear, but we have control over how we feel. And I want to teach this is also in the packet, and it's also something that I use with world-class performers, and it's how to use fear to your benefit. Now, The first thing that you're going to do when you come into a situation that really matters, you're going to not just keep fear at bay, but you need to raise your level of awareness. In other words, what are you so afraid of? So when you're going to ask for that raise or that promotion, or you're going to raise up your fees, what are you so afraid of? Maybe it's rejection. I don't know if anyone's ever been afraid of being rejected, but I have. I've gotten over it, completely over it, because I've seen how much it holds me back. And now I've had a lot more success that I'm over it. But when you're afraid of something, it's very normal. But instead of pushing it away, you want to bring it closer. So in other words, let's just say it is the raise or the promotion you're asking for. What you want to do is ask yourself, what am I so afraid of? And instead of saying, don't worry about it, it'll be fine or it'll work out, which is what we tend to do, you don't want to do that. You want to invite it to come closer to you. Let's say you're afraid of being rejected. Then you might think, okay, I'm fearful of being rejected and it's okay. So in other words, you want to acknowledge it and validate it. And then what you want to do is then you want to think about what you have control over in order for it to be better. What would that fear whisper in your ear? So in other words, I'm afraid of being rejected. What would that fear say to me? What do I have control over? So in other words, maybe you need to become more proficient in a skill. Maybe that fear would tell you that you need to become a more influential speaker. So learn from that fear, bring it closer. And then you want to take it one step further and think, if that fear is telling me to become a more influential speaker, or that fear is telling me to become more proficient in a skill, then think of that fear as cheering you on. So now you're using it as an ally. All right. So Carol's chiming in and says that sounds very awkward. I know it sounds awkward because I'm teaching you a tool that world-class performers use. And I don't know if you're like me, but I didn't come from that arena. I didn't get plopped in this planet. I haven't been in the Olympics, and I'm a CEO and founder now, but this is something I had to learn to get there. So in other words, I want to be clear. You can fill out this level up worksheet. It will guide you through it. But the whole idea is, you want to think about what you really want and deserve, and then you want to think about what you're afraid of. And then think of that fear whispering in your ear. This is what you want to think of. It whispering in your ear, hey, if you're really afraid of this, in order for that not to happen, you better do that. So think about what that is, and then when you go into that conversation to have a raise or something, then you want to think of that fear as your ally, going, remember, I told you to have eye contact and to be expressive. So I hope that makes sense to you. It's a very different concept. All right, so what's a fear or concern that you might have at work, and how will you use it to your advantage? And you can go ahead and write in the chat roll, or you can print out your level up worksheet and work through it there. But I want you to start thinking about what you're fearful of, because this whole hour is about courage. And in order for you to be courageous to go out and get what you want and deserve, you must understand what you fear. All right? So the confidence takeaway is along the same lines, that looking fear in the face and asking it to stand with you can be your biggest source of confidence. This is a different perspective of what you might have thought about before, because most people try and push fear away. Don't worry, it'll be fine. We do that for ourselves. We do that for kids. Don't worry about that test. It'll be fine. Instead of doing that with ourselves or with our kids or with anyone else, I would ask, what are you so afraid of? If you're afraid of getting a bad grade, what do you have control over that might make it the least likely or that'll make it more likely that you'll be successful? So in other words, bring fear closer and learn from it. That's the message. Is that making sense? I know it's awkward, but can you show some hands making sense? Stephanie, thank you. Looks like Carla, it's making sense now. Sandy, okay, awesome. All right, phase 3, the control phase, get off autopilot phase. It's very important that you take control of improving and take the next steps towards your long-term objective. All right, in order for you to make progress towards something at work, I want you to start thinking about what you will commit to improving this week. You don't need to put it in the chat roll, just start thinking about it. What will you do? By when? Who will you declare it to? The more people you announce it to, the better. All right, one other thing to think about, and write this in your notes, put a star around it. What will you need to start or stop doing right now to be successful over the long haul? It might be to stop talking to yourself in a negative manner, or to start talking to yourself in a positive manner. I don't know, but start thinking about that. Now, one other testimonial from a woman that I've worked with is that it's very important. She was a senior consultant at Accenture, but because she was not mentally tough, she was saying yes too much. And she was working too much. Her health was being sacrificed too much, and it was not serving her to be her best. And so becoming mentally tough has given her much more control over her life, and it's made her much more happy. So I want to know if any of this resonates with you, and I want to leave you with 3 more world-class tips. I want you, and thank you, Mary. Thank you for raise your hand there. I want you to start seeing the person that you want to be. And I want you to look at your long-term career objective and why it's so important to you. I want you to look at it every day. Get that success builder out. If you don't fill the whole thing out, it's fine, but look at it every day. And I want you to do both of these at night. Start thinking of and be very vivid about the person that you want to become and why you care so deeply. And I want you to understand, what if we have the mindset to achieve beyond the standard means and weaponize what we already have in us, and really not only crush it, but really think about what would we be able to do? We would be able to crush doubt. We would be able to not have fear, get rid of frustration. And what if we could use these to your advantage? Here's what I know. You absolutely can. And if you want to learn how, I'm giving the baby out with the bathwater. I love this picture so much. I'm going to explain and tell you my entire framework. And I want you to sit tight with me, because at the end of this, we're going to go through this very fast. I'm going to give you an opportunity again to have a 1-hour free strategy session with me so we can map out what you want and deserve. But learning how to be zoned in, and we're not going to go over everything right now. It basically teaches you the tools to be confident. And it will also help you through laying the foundation and getting the clarity and having a roadmap for what you want and deserve. So I am on a mission for 2018 to help empower 10,000 women to be mentally tough. And as a matter of fact, we are well onto our way. But what I want to know is, are you going to be one of the 10,000? So it's really time to bring this content to life. We've been talking for this past hour about courage, about gaining the clarity, confidence, and control to get what you want, deserve. But I want to know if you're going to be one of the 10,000. And so I'm offering, remember I said I'm not selling, not only not selling, I'm giving. I'm going to ask you to be decisive if you want to do this and apply for a free 1-hour strategy session. Now, this is going to be limited to 20, I believe. And they're already starting to disappear, but there's something that you need to know before you apply. And stay with me, because I'm going to be giving away the slide deck. I'm seeing some yes, and absolutely so. That's awesome. And it looks like from Kimberly and Laura and Carol, thank you so much. I'm really excited for you to fill this out. But there's a couple things you must know. It's not for everyone. It's by application only. And if you are content with your ambitions and circumstances, as well as the sustainability that you're going after it, it's not for you. And if you want more, but you're unwilling to learn something new or put in the work or invest the time in yourself, maybe it's not for you either. So I want you to take that in consideration. But if you are ready to transform frustration into progress, It is absolutely for you. And if you're ready to accelerate your progress towards what you want and deserve in a sustainable manner, it's absolutely for you as well. And finally, if you're willing to learn new world-class tips, tools, and habits to fuel your transformation, I would be so honored and excited to talk to you. But I'm asking you to be decisive. I've just gotten back from a mastermind with some of the leading experts in my field, and we were in Cabo, and the theme of that power meeting, where I felt like I was a fly on the wall, but as it turns out, they learned from me too, as an incredible experience. But the main thing that I learned is that successful people are decisive. And so I'm only opening this up to 20 people, and I'm watching them disappear right now. So I'm asking you, please, to apply by the 12th. Now that is Saturday. You don't need to have the session by the 12th, but I'm asking you to please, please, please get your application in by then, because we're going to shut them down. And I want to ask you, actually, I'm going to ask you a question, but first I want to share something. If you think that you're feeling boxed in, or you think that you don't have the clarity or confidence or control to get what you want and deserve, and that's an uneasy feeling, and you're not as happy as you could be, think about what it would feel like to be crystal clear, to have a plan of what you want, why you care, and also to have the tools to go after it and make consistent progress. What would it be like to have the transformation that you want and that you know you deserve? And I really want to make this content real for you, and I really want to help you along the way. And I am so excited that Carol's chiming in about the coaching, and then I'm going to answer some questions here in a second, but please do be decisive, because they are disappearing right now. We're down to, there's only 12 left actually, which is crazy. They're disappearing right in front of my eyes, which has not happened before. But let me let you know the next steps. All you need to do by the 12th is submit an application, but I would really encourage you to do it sooner rather than later, because once I hit 20, they're gone. Also, then you can look for an email from me personally within 24 hours, and you just follow the instructions in that email. And then if you work for a company and you want to go through this for or with a small group, then I'm glad to do that as well. You're just going to put a message in with your discovery session questionnaire. And there's going to be, now sit tight, there's 3 very special bonuses that I'm going to need you to enter in. We're going to be at the Q&A in a couple seconds here. So if you want these, stick around, because I'm going to drop them into the chat roll once we have the Q&A. But they're worth over $1,200. The first one is a mental toughness toolkit. In other words, this is going to be 10 valuable worksheets, challenges, and apps, so you can crush negative thoughts and emotions and be able to perform your absolute best. This is almost $1,000 value, so hang tight with me. Also, I have a Confidence Accelerator video series, which is incredible, and I'm going to be giving this to you for free. These are all if you apply for your strategy session. And also, I'm in the middle of writing my book, Zoned In, The Mindset Required for World-Class You. You'll get on the VIP list for this, which I am super, super excited about. Now, I want to open this up for questionnaires. Please do put in any questions. I want you to put in the chat roll if you would like the slide deck. I would like to know if you would like any of the bonuses, and please be one of the 20 people to sign up. They are disappearing right now. So I want to let you know there's only about 9 left. So you need to do this by the 12th, but if they're gone, they're gone. So I encourage you to do it right now. So let me know if you have any questions, any further questions. I'm going to open it up so that way I can make this content real for you. Now I'm going to take one from the chat roll here if anyone else has any other questions. Now, Corrine asked, are these forms on screen or the package that you sent? Okay, so anyways, everything is going to be online. If you need anything, I'll have my team send that to you. Also, Mary asked, let's see, I want to work in a place I have in mind, and I want to be happy and make more money. Okay, that is an awesome long-term dream or objective. I want to know, does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask? I see a lot of requests coming in for the slides. We will definitely get you taken care of. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right. Sometimes I want to speak up, but I'm not sure how my ideas will be received. I then feel disappointed with myself and like the opportunity was lost. How can I prepare for the next time? That is an excellent question. Has anyone else ever felt that way? Sometimes, depending on the room that you're in, it can be very intimidating to ask questions. And so, what I would recommend again is being very crystal clear on what questions you have and why they're important to you. And I would definitely go through that level up worksheet. But one thing that you can know is to get calm and think about what you have control over. You have no control over how your questions are going to be received, and you should be at peace with that. So in other words, they may be well received, maybe not, I don't know, and it's okay. So you recognize and validate that, then you get zero focused on what you do have control over. Check your numbers, check your data, make sure that whatever you're going to reference is accurate. Make sure that you are speaking in a confident tone. So the answer is get back to what you have control over. So I hope that makes sense. All right, any other questions? I'm going to take them out of the chat roll here. Please do keep asking them questions. Please keep putting in the questions, and then also let me know if you would like the slide deck or any of the other tools. A majority of the tools you will get if you sign up for that strategy session. It looks like now there are about 8 left. So you'll have till the 12th or when they're gone. So whichever comes sooner. So please do sign up for those. All right, I'm going to take a couple more questions. All right, so in order to get the tools, please do sign up for that strategy session questionnaire, and we will make sure to get those out to you. I'm going to take another question here. All right, does anyone want to know a little bit more? We have a couple more minutes. Anyone want to know a little bit more about influence and how to have an influential conversation? Would that be helpful for you to apply to either at work? Oh, I see some hands being raised. Okay, so we're going to take a minute to talk a little bit more about influence. This can be used with your kids. It can be used with your colleagues. It can be used with your manager. Again, you can influence down, you can influence sideways, or influence up. So I'm going to review this again. Does anyone have a certain situation where they need to be influential? Now, this is about learning how to be courageous and also how to be influential. These go hand in hand. So how to be courageous, you need to be very in tune with what you fear and start using it to your advantage. And then how you can be influential. Let's see if there's a situation in here. Do you guys have a situation? Okay, I'm going to think of one then. Let's say when it comes to this raise, in other words, you really want to think about that fear coming closer to you. And once you understand what that is, what you want to do, gain a lot of clarity around what it is that you want and why you care so much. Once you know that, you can frame it up to the person who you're trying to influence, acknowledge them and validate them. Here's a very simple example of this. If you're trying to influence down, let's say it's a child, you might say, I totally understand why you want to stay out all night, and I get why you might want to do that. When I was your age, I wanted to do that too. But here's what I'm thinking. It's not safe, and you're not allowed to drive after 11, and I'm sure you don't want your driver's license taken away, right? So that's the challenge piece. You're challenging people to come through the back door and arrive at the answer that you want. It doesn't guarantee that you will get your way, but it does give you a better chance of you having them walk in your shoes and come up with the very answer that you want. When you're challenging up to a manager or a senior leader, you might say, I know there's a lot of hats in arena for this senior position, and I totally understand everyone's qualified, and I'm sure it might be a really difficult choice. But these are the results that I've had over the last year, the last quarter, and I'm sure you want the best for the team, right? And I'm sure that you're going to make the absolute best decision. So that's challenging up. All right, so it looks like we're at the top of the hour. I want to thank you all so much for joining. And you know what? Please, I want you to sign up for these strategy sessions. I want to make this content real for you, and I want to be fully invested in your success and customize it. We only have about 7 left, and so go ahead, sign up. The 12th or Saturday is the deadline, but once they're gone, they're gone. So I want you to see the transformation you want and deserve. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much. I look forward to being in touch one way or the other. Here's to you being amazing and to your continued success. Thanks so much.